Give a warm welcome, the Executive Director of the United Nations Human Settlements Program, UN Habitat, Maimunah Mohd Sharif.
Thank you very much. Excellencies and distinguished youth participants in the Oslo Pax Summit, friends, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure to be with you today, even though I'm just arrived yesterday, and I met many friends within these 1.5 days at this important inaugural summit on the nexus between peace and climate change. It is an urgent topic and timely moment to address one of the most critical global challenges of our time. Many decision makers and young climate leaders from around the world will be gathering later this month in New York during the Secretary General's Climate Action Summit. This forum will allow your voices to be captured among the recommendations proposed to the Secretary General. Well, as we speak now, the urgency of addressing climate action has never been clearer. But as we speak of the environmental impact and economic damage, we often forget the social impact of climate change, its impact on societies and on peace within and between society. The IPCC's special 1.5 degrees report issued last year confirmed something that many of us experience the first-hand: climate change and climate variability worsen existing poverty and increase inequalities. And yet, I quote the report, identifying and addressing poverty and inequality is at the core of staying within a safe and just space for humanity. End of the quote. We all know that climate change will directly affect the availability, quality, and access to water, to food, ecosystem services in cities, as well as competition for land, unsustainable land use patterns, energy, infrastructure, and in other words, it will endanger the safe and just space for humanity, which is meant by the IPCC report. The UN Security Council has discussed the relationship of climate change with peace and security since 2007. It has been reaffirmed over the past decade that increased competition over diminishing resources is decreasing the resilience of population to cope with humanitarian crisis. When economic activity declines and young people find themselves unemployed and existing on the fringe of society, it makes them vulnerable to exploitation, exposes to them to violence, extremism, and create opportunities for potential radicalization. Clearly, my friends, climate change is a threat multiplier, which interacts with all human and all known dynamics of conflicts in direct and indirect ways. So why should we focus in cities? This is because 55% of the world population is urban, and by 2050, it will be 68%, as what our colleagues mentioned on the screen today. As the world grows more urban, the locus of conflict also shift to the city. As a former mayor, I was a 7 years as a mayor in Penang and dealing with cities, I can tell you that every day social conflicts incentivize with large-scale migration and competition for resources, increasing the likelihood of prolonged instability and violence conflict. It leads to increased social and spatial fragmentation in the city, separation of rich and poor neighborhoods, stretching the capacities of societies and government alike. The most vulnerable groups, especially children, women, youth, older persons, the poor, refugees, and internally displaced persons, and indigenous population. These are often hit the hardest and take the longest to recover. This is why cities are not only the front line to climate action, but also in managing its impacts on peace and security. With cities being responsible for 75% of the global CO2 emission, predominantly from transport and buildings, they are obviously central to climate change mitigation. But effort to reduce greenhouse gases must go hand in hand with measures to reduce inequalities and manage rapid urbanization. This will require bold and ambitious effort and change in the way we engage with the young people as we plan, design, build, and manage cities and human settlement. At UN Habitat, we believe that young people are the key actors towards creating more sustainable and low-carbon pathways to help combat devastating global warming in the next 12 years, while at the same time building less vulnerable and more resilient cities. The better we do this, the less harmful the linked social, environmental, and economic impact will be. My friends, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot continue to function and then to function as usual and expect different results. We all know what Albert Einstein had to say about this. Clearly, in order to tackle this climate emergency, we need to adopt radically different approaches and make bold, inspiring choices. We are the leaders. Every one of us in this hall, in a way, are leaders. We have to change ourselves first. Get it, ponder ourselves. What change can I make as a person? Sometimes it's easy to say that we have to change and let others change, but not ourselves. I think we have to change from our heart first, in terms of the way we consume, the way we produce, the way we react to environment. Then we change into our families, our sisters and brothers. Even sometimes have to change our mother. My daughter used to tell me, Abe, you are the ED of UN Habitat. You want to buy a car, you better at least buy a hybrid car, not the normal car. I said, oh yeah. Sometimes we have to be reminded. Then we continue with the community, continue with more communities, bigger communities, nation, and also global. This is very important. To me, when you talk about climate change or any change, is start with us. This is very, very important for me, and I feel that we can ask for people to change, but we have to change first. And at UN Habitat, we have adopted bold new approaches in carrying out our mandates. As I said just now, we all leaders, but I prefer to say, think local. You must know what is the problem at our level. People used to say, think global, act local. I said, think local. If you don't know what is your problem, then how we can act global? We think local, we act global, and also we learn from the global. Please go back and apply locally. Sometimes we go for a conference, big conference. After the conference, we forget. So think local, act global, learn global, and apply local. Then you can be a change or game changer. And what we can do is that we would like into a different way of planning. Implies designing compact, connected, integrated cities and human settlement that optimizes land, resources, and energy use. We know that urban form and structure and building material use significantly affect greenhouse emission. We are also aware that ecosystem must be protected in order to ensure the well-being, the health and safety of our communities. And our experience has taught us that inclusive, broad-based participation that amplifies the voices and those who are most marginalized is essential to ensure that no one will get or left behind. So we need to look into the integrated, holistic urban policy or integrated, holistic human settlement policy, and which can be translated from policy to plan and action. I shared my views just now with the Habitat Norway. We have so many declarations, many resolutions, but now we need declare action. Even though it's the same spelling, declaration, but we look at declare action. We want to have an action-oriented, impact-oriented. Well, it's a very tall order. I'm standing here as an ED or UN Habitat. You might say maybe later, Maimunah, what did you do? You say the impact-oriented, that UN Habitat is impact-oriented organization. We are moving towards that. We are moving towards giving the impact to the stakeholders and the environment. And we have to look into building differently, which requires robust, low carbon, yet affordable technologies, local technologies, like nature's look at it. And we also, which have withstand the impact of extreme weather, as well as challenges. We have to look at the adaptation. If we try to prevent, if we can prevent, but if not, we have to look into the adaptation. And this is very, very important in finding alternative solution to traditional value chain. Sometimes we go back to the values and go back to our traditional. And we can advance the circular economy at all cities level. It also implies creating new green jobs and also for the young people in the cities. And I used to say in one of the program in the youth program to say that the young people try to be not a job seeker, but try to be a job creator through innovation and creativity. In addition, an integrated and low-carbon approaches to urban planning and development are fundamentally pro-poor approach to climate action is central to our UN Habitat work. Climate event and their associated security challenges will trap those furthest behind unless we adopt pro-poor approach to planning, building, and managing cities. And we prepare the most vulnerable communities to become resilient and upcoming risks. I have the opportunity to visit Mozambique after the cyclone Idai, after 1 month. I purposely went there after 1 month as an ED of UN Habitat because I didn't go because of the work of UNHCR, OCHA, and all that. After 1 month, and I realized that how important is building climate resilient for the urban poor, adaptive, alternative, and adaptive design. And I would like to share with you the Ministry of Education who shared to me saying that of all the buildings in Mozambique, there are few buildings, schools, built with the resilient and adaptation design, designed together with UN Habitat and built by the World Bank, stand still. But we cannot only looking into a building, we have to build resilient community. Because why? Only one building is not affected, but yet the roof is affected because of the community, the building around that solid building is also affected and damaged. So this is very important for us to look into the resilient technology and resilient design. And in this case, I think education is very, very important, either formal education or informal education. For UN Habitat, strengthen climate action and improve urban environment and effective urban crisis prevention and response constitute to our 4 strategic focus areas for the next several years. We are looking into the improved poverty and also inequality and rural-urban continuum. We are looking into how we can have the prosperity within region and cities, climate change, and the 4th is urban crisis and urban prevention. And as we move towards the implementation of our new strategic plan, the Oslo Pax Summit is an excellent opportunity to reiterate our commitment to work with all of you to reaffirm the critical role that young people play in tackling the global environmental challenges together. I'm glad to hear that one of the outcomes of this 2-day summit will be a set of recommendations to the Climate Action Summit in September, and I will see you there because UN Habitat is a co-lead of one of the track in the Secretary General Summit on infrastructure, cities, and local action. So the leaders, as yourself, as all as ourselves here today, I think we can drive transformative towards low carbon, climate resilient, smart and inclusive cities for the future. Last but not least, let us join hands to take climate action in cities and human settlement now. I assure you that you can count on me as a climate action and youth champion. I'm still young. I'm only as young as 58. In the fight for our planet's survival and the future of the generation to come, let us practice the principle of 4P: public, private, people partnership. Thank you very much. Now, I have the pleasure to introduce a video of Kaka, a young man from Mathare, Nairobi, Kenya, whom I first met him in March 2018. Just 3 months, I was an ED of UN Habitat, and I went to Mathare and I met this wonderful young man. Please, Kaka, thank you very much.
Talking about the challenges that the community was facing in 1997 to 2000, I can say that there was garbage everywhere, there was diseases, sometimes even you find aborted babies, they will have been thrown there. So it was a big challenge to us. So mostly we deal with waste management. When we were collecting the garbage, we realized there's some recyclable materials that we can try and recycle. We have a machine that adds value also to the product. But in this business, the big challenge is when we take the garbage to the collection point, like you find there's no trucks for carrying it. Like the city council, they are not reliable. If they can be a bit reliable, like life can be smooth, and also we can continue creating more opportunities for the young people. The open spaces have turned out to be very resourceful to the society, because now we have a center that is being occupied every day by young people. We also had some support from the politicians, because we knew that whenever there's elections, the politicians will come running asking for votes. If we vote for you, all we want for you to do is just remove the garbage. So that way, we got rid of the garbage. That has also engaged the community, because when we are doing it, some of the community members, they come help so that we secure the spaces. The open spaces, they are social places where now not even the young people, as the community, we can use when we want to have events that will make you know your neighbor and also make you feel that you belong to this community. So by occupying the open spaces and utilizing them and creating space for the kids and also the youths to come up together is the best that Mathare Environmental has been doing so far. When the young people fight for open spaces, they are fighting for a developing community. Because in life, if you lack some of the space that you need so that you can grow up when you're a young person, it's very difficult. Even in our own group, we had lost some members. They were engaging in crime, and we lost them on the way. And it's very sad, when you see a young person die at a younger age. As per now, I can say the situation now is much better, and a lot of young people are now engaging in other activities that are happening in the community. And with that one, you can see the unity and the togetherness that this community is now facing. We have tried to engage the young people and trying to bring them together so that they can come up with ideas that will build a better community. We just need to support the young people. With that one, we can live a better life. And that's what everyone wants. A better city, a better life. One love.